Hello everyone, welcome to Asia Talk. I'm Anna Chan. Today my guest is Dr. Gary Wohloman. Dr. Wohloman is founder of a system that helps individuals and groups communicate more effectively using very simple but powerful interactive techniques. Dr. Wohloman, welcome to Asia Talk.
Thank you, Anna. It's great to be here.
Dr. Wohloman, can you tell us how you first got started in the system?
Sure. It was a series of moving through one-way doors, as I remember it. At the beginning, in my early 20s, I had had a background of many, many years as a champion springboard diver, gymnast, very involved with track, the use of and the expression of my body, the body. I love what the body can do. And after not getting into medical school and wondering what to do with my life, I pursued a career in humanistic psychology, discovering the new field at the time of body-centered therapies, which allowed me to combine touch, movement, expression with getting to the source of where people have stored muscle memories, decisions, attitudes, stances of life, and underlying that, their inborn creativity. So my life has been as an archaeologist, digging deep under the surface of this landscape of the body to free ourselves and the treasures that lay buried within.
Tell us a little more about how you present these tools to your audience.
Well, for example, if I were coaching you right now and I were sitting here with you and listening to your presenting, I would, as I am sitting here right now, thinking, how would I work with this person, as we'll have a chance to work with your TV crew here later tonight. The patterns that I listen for can be seen, for example, as we look at this map that I've drawn. It's actually a map of a person's body, if you look at it carefully. And as we pan out just a little bit more, you'll see that it's a kind of a Renaissancean version of a MAPPE version of a map. And there's a court jester, which I've also been in my life, juggling balls all over the place. Look carefully. The M in map indicates that to be able to deliver a message to others, what do you have to do first? Deliver the message to yourself. So one of the first things that I do with people, as I will do with you in a little bit, is to redefine a person's self-talk so that their message that goes out to the world is also clear and resident. So they can be in residence in their own living landscape. You see also the elements of touch, breath, the stance a person takes, the movement patterns and voice are all part of this composite. So when I work with people, I have little vignettes that I imagine while I'm sitting here with you that we can do. One is the double extreme technique. If a person is talking fast, for instance, one of the best tools that I've found, combining some of the work in neurolinguistic programming, playback theater, improvisational acting, psychodrama, and many other forms of movement-centered disciplines, is we take the self-talk and have a person exaggerate it. So if you're talking fast, I might ask you to talk faster than you've ever talked in your life up to now, and then slower than you've ever talked up to now. By doing that, out becomes a form of a relatingship that was not there before. Instead of just getting the information out, the verbal, then people began to have the vocal sounds in the voice and the visual movements and gestures say so much more than the words could say alone. By combining these two, the double extreme technique and other tools which I've developed, people make very swift breakthroughs that are often life-lasting.
And I understand you've worked quite extensively with Asians as well. And
yes, it's true.
Them being more introverted. How has that been? What do you think how has your system been particularly effective with Asians?
Well, I make it fun. I turn the moments of intervention where each person in the audience gets a turn into Monty Python-like satires and spoofs where a person may say, I'm terrified to stand in front of a group of people. So instead of making that a problem, I have that person stand in front of the group of people, the audience, and to make the following type of expression. Up to now, I might have them say those words out loud, up to now.
Up to now.
The way I've been addressing audiences is, I've been speaking so fast, or I've been afraid to look people in the eye, or I don't know what to do with my hands. could be anything. Then I take them through a series of exercises, and I have them say, from now on I, saying those words.
From now on I.
In front of all my future audiences.
From all my
future audiences. Starting with you.
Starting with you.
I'm ready to look my audiences in the eye.
I'm ready to look my audience.
See them as my friend, not my enemy.
See them as my friends and not my enemies.
See bridges, not walls.
See bridges, not walls.
Allow myself to make contact with the way I use my body, my hands, my gestures.
That's a lot of words.
You don't have to say that,
No,
but that's basically what I'm asking
I
people
see.
to do.
So by them actually exercising techniques that they would be comfortable doing, it helps them break through.
I'll give you an example. You're very right. A very good example, and one of the simplest examples, is what I call the self-talk 11th-fold embodiment exercise of a new self-talk, new affirmation. We all, in front of our audiences, have a thought. Am I getting across clearly, authentically? Do I sound like myself, or do I feel phony? What can I do to be more effective? And generally, underneath every communication is what we call a meta-communication, an underlying message. A man, for example, called me one day when I was living in Boston at one time, and he saw that I had an ad in something called Lawyers Weekly for helping lawyers make more engaging courtroom presentation and to help with litigation. So this man called. He was actually a CPA and also a lawyer, and he said, I have a new estate planning business, but no one's buying my product. So I came into his office, and it was very obvious when he showed me the stage of his scenario, which was he couldn't close the sale. Very good-looking man, athletic man, full of energy, charisma, but he couldn't get to asking for what he wanted. So having extensive understanding and background with psychodrama and all these different forms of work that I've studied, I asked him, is there a moment that you can remember, as you in the audience may also be thinking about a moment you can remember, when you stopped asking for what you wanted, or when you became afraid of putting yourself out in front of audiences? Not only Asian audiences, but many people from many cultures have the same wounding, the same type of overcoming a shyness that we're talking about here. And he said to me, you know, it's funny, ever since you asked me that question, I keep thinking about the time when my father, when I was only 8 or 10 years old, was showing me the way, as a very powerful man, a very successful businessman, son, this is the way to paint your father's boat. Do it just like me and you'll be okay. Well, what did little Kenny decide at a time like that? What could any little boy who wants the approval of his daddy decide? Unless I
paint the boat,
unless like daddy, unless I live my life like daddy, unless I act like daddy, why even bother to try to do it on my own? 30 years later, I was working with him in the room. So I asked him to step in back of himself, and if he could see himself as an internally nurturing and empowering inner guide, what would he say? And he said, well, I'm always finding a way to get through difficult situations. I love people, and I always find a way to get through. It's a little long, the statement, so I asked him to shorten the statement, as you asked me to shorten my statements earlier. So we came up with this marvelous statement. And perhaps we all, the cameraman in this room and you as well, can vocalize with me this statement, because it's better when everybody participates. I'm always including everybody. So ready, everybody? Here we go.